Hi guys, and today we're going to be reviewing the Sparmax Arism air compressor, and we'll also be reviewing the Sparmax dual action airbrush series. It's called the Max series, and the one that I've got to review today is the Max 4 with the 0.4 needle nozzle setup. So first things first, we're going to come back in a moment and we're going to take it out of the box and we're going to have a look at setting up the compressor first of all. Okay, so this is the first time I've taken this out of the box, so bear with me guys. So we've got an air hose that comes included, a user manual, you can see there, and I'm just gonna take the compressor out of the box now guys. Also got a connector, and in here is a moisture trap, and I believe this is like a pressure gauge to change. Let's have a look at that. I think I've got everything out of the box. Right, let's have a look at the instruction manual. So the airbrush bleed valve is in here, which I'll show you. And then we've got a moisture trap to connect to our airbrush, and I believe this is an airbrush holder that we're going to put onto the compressor. So let's take the compressor out. Wow, it's really smart looking guys. It's a Sparmax on the side there. I'm just going to read a little blurb from the website there. So this was kindly sent to me by airbrushes.com. I'll provide a link in the description box down below where you can check this compressor out. It costs £125, and like I say, it's really smart and tidy looking. But let's read some of the blurb from the website. So the Sparmax Arism compressors embodies the philosophy of Sparmax, raising performance and rising above expectations through continuous improvement and unwavering quality. Reliable and functionally versatile, this innovative model exceeds the performance of similar sized compressors. Okay, and I'm just going to read out some of the specs of the compressor there. So it's low maintenance, oilless single piston air compressor, working pressures of 0 psi to 35 psi. It's got an auto on and off switch, which I'm going to test that out in a moment when we get it all set up guys. But basically what that means is that when you're not using the compressor, the pistons shouldn't be firing. It should be silent and basically like an auto off switch, basically, as it said. Got the airbrush bleed valve, the silver bullet moisture trap, which is this here, 2mm braided hose, which we've got here. What else? Detachable power cord, got that. Pressure gauge is over here, and I think that's it really. He's got the size and the weight, 2.6 kilos, and the noise level is 49 decibels. Okay, for those of you that are interested in the noise levels of this compressor. So I'm going to go ahead now and set it up. So let's do this on camera. Right, I'm just going to plug this in guys, I'll be back in a moment. Okay guys, as you can see, I've hooked up the moisture trap to the air hose and the bleed valve to the airbrush, and also hooked it up to the moisture trap there. I'm just going to turn the compressor on. Okay, and how we can control the compressor's pressure, so the PSI, is by changing the dial on the bleed valve. So at the moment it's showing about 30 PSI, but if I roll back the bleed valve, I can take the pressure down. As you can see there, I'm at 20 PSI. I can take it down even further. I'm at 15 PSI there. What you will find though, if the bleed valve's open, sorry about the noise of the compressor, when the bleed valve's open, the compressor won't shut off because you're bleeding out air from the valve. But when the valve's closed and you're working at a higher PSI, it will automatically cut out the motor when you're not spraying. But when you spray, it will kick in. When you're not spraying, it'll turn off. We'll do that again. What I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to come back in a moment. I'm going to move the compressor and we're going to test out the Sparmax Max 4 airbrush. Okay, before we go on with the spraying of the Max 4 airbrush, let me change the lighting so we can see a bit better. I'm going to show you what comes included now. If I can just dig that out, you get a spare I should say, guys, a spare crown cap. Now the reason why this is so cool is if you're working at very close range, let me get you down there, if you're working at real close range on your models or whatever you're spraying at the particular time, with a normal round cap the air won't have anywhere to escape, so it'll interfere with your paint flow. Whereas with the crown cap, as you can see here, the air flows out the sides where the crown has the slits there, and you can work at much closer ranges with the crown cap fitted. So that's a nice little extra. It also comes with a single action valve which you can swap out to turn this airbrush into a single action instead of a dual action. So single action being that you just spray for air to come out and paint. With the dual action, you'd spray and you'd pull back for paint, so you can swap it over to a single action there, which is really handy. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, just test out the Max 4 airbrush by putting some paint through it, and we'll do some tests on some paper. It's going to get a bit noisy in a moment, guys, because I'm going to turn on the compressor. Let's just pour some paint into the airbrush cup. Okay, and I have to say that the cap fits absolutely perfect as well. You'll find on the cheaper branded airbrushes the lids just don't fit, which is an annoyance, but on this one it fits like a glove, as the saying goes. So just going to turn the compressor on now, guys, so apologies for that. And I'm spraying at first about 30 psi, so I've just turned the bleed valve off. And as you can see, I'm able to get pretty fine lines, even though it's a 0.4mm airbrush. And you're going to get some really nice spray, larger spray patterns with this airbrush, because it's a 0.4mm there. The airbrush spray is lovely considering the price of this airbrush, which I believe is £45. But what I'll do, I'll put a link down below to this airbrush, to airbrushes.com, so you can go and check that out for yourself. But it sprays absolutely beautifully. It's also got a paint limiter system on the preset handle at the back. What that basically does is, if I actually dial this down, it will stop the trigger from pulling back a certain length, so you can only get a certain line of spray every single time, like so. So that's handy, especially if you're new to airbrushing and you're finding it hard to get the same line weight all the time. So that's a nice little feature to have on this airbrush, on the preset handle there. I think that's it for today, guys. We've had a quick look at the Max 4 airbrush. We've also had a look at the compressor. If you'd like to see me take this airbrush apart and put it back together again, please put a comment down in the comments box below. If you'd like me to do more information on the compressor, also put a comment down in the comments box below. And again, I'd just like to thank airbrushes.com for sending me these out for review. Please check the comments box down below for that and you can find out more information. But the airbrush, absolutely fantastic. It's what, £20 more than the cheap Chinese knockoff airbrushes you can get, and you can tell instantly the quality that you're able to get out of this is much smoother and much finer than you're able to get from the next cheapest airbrushes out there. As you can see, able to get some really nice spray patterns out of this. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.